Is this thing on? Hey everybody, it's Sydney, aka the Shameless Black Girl, and today we're gonna get into it. Now, let me be transparent. This podcast has been recorded now 6 fucking times. And in those 6 fucking times, I found myself shaming myself about showing up. And it's like, girl, like this is what we're trying to teach. This is what we're trying to share. And this is why it's important. And something that I realized is that podcasting was never like in my bingo card. Like it wasn't on my bingo card. It wasn't something that I just knew that I wanted to do. And being a short form girly, a lot of people probably know me from TikTok or Twitter. That shit is easy, right? It's so easy to just capture someone's attention for 15 seconds versus having like long form chats with people like this. And I have these chats with Black women all the time. But one thing that Black women have always told me is like, you need to get this on the record. You got to get a mic. You got to talk about this. You need to share this to the masses. So that is what today is about. This podcast is dedicated to the little Black girl who they always told to shut the fuck up. And I think that something that we need to identify as Black women is shame. And where does shame show up in our bodies? Where does it show up in our families, in our lives, in our homes? And figuring out how we can stop shaming ourselves and how we can put a stop to other people trying to shame us. I don't know who needs to hear this, but ain't nobody about to shame me about shit. We all have very, very beautiful stories. We all have very detailed and delicate stories. And at the end of the day, something that I had to realize in wanting to tell my story is the simple fact that it is still special, even if it's flawed. And in my flaws, I know that me sharing those things is going to help someone else. I think that Black women, to be honest with you, we gain a lot of shame from our moms, right? So when I think about my mother, I don't think that it was intentional. I don't think that she's the big bad wolf and that she's out to get me under any circumstances, but I think that shame for her was going to be shame for me. And I think that if Black women can start to deconstruct that shame in their own lives, in their own hearts, in their own spirits, then maybe we won't pass it down to our children, right? So something that my mom used to always say was like, ain't no shame in my game. But I would find many spaces and places where there is actually shame in your game. It's capping your rap, girl. How do I know? Because you're ashamed of showing up authentically as yourself. And that's where we used to butt heads a lot. Me and my mom, we used to butt heads so much simply based on the fact that I really did not have a lot of filtering in me growing up. I didn't feel ashamed to let people see me try. And something that my mom really wanted to do is to show people the final result. And I think that that's like a boomer thing, right? It's a boomer thing to show up bourgeoisie Black. We got to be put together at all times. We got to be buttoned up straight. We can't have any hair loose. Everything needs to be perfect. And as I was growing up, I started to really resent her for always going for perfection versus just making sure it was done. And in showing people the process, that was something that I started to resent her for. Why do this shit gotta always be perfect, mama? Why do you think that this needs to be like that? Or why do you think that people give a damn? Because I think that so many of those small details that my mom really paid attention to versus really pushing out the big story, the big thing. Not as an ambulance. I think that those small details really stopped her from enjoying the moment, right? And for me, as a little Black girl looking up to her, there were so many moments that she failed to enjoy with me because she was nitpicking at me. And That was something that I grew up never vowing, I vowed to never do. I never wanted to just nitpick at myself because I wanted to show up a certain way for other people. And the shame that we feel from our mothers is something that really sticks with us until we learn to really deconstruct what that is and why they were feeling that way and why we need to stop it, right? So, when it comes to shame, it's something that is showing up in our day to day lives. It's showing up in the way that we walk, the way that we talk, our health, our mental health, the way that we think. And I do understand that, you know, some things we want done a certain way, but at the end of the day, if we're shaming ourselves and if we're allowing people to shame us, we're just creating a life that is more like what those people want versus what we want. And one of my biggest compliments that I have received as a Black woman is, you really doing that shit and you don't give a damn. Because I don't. Because I don't. And I think that many Black women really need to get comfortable with disappointing people. With disappointing people, because if it's not what you want and you're so busy taking care of everybody else, then when do you actually have the space to show up authentically and to do the things that you need to do? I think that more Black women need to start thinking about that. Now, in understanding where the shame started in my life as a Black queer woman, starting with some things with my mother, her friends, her sisters, her nieces, like the women in my life who were also Black, but who had also been raised to be ashamed. I think that for me, something that I really had to do was to have an out of body experience of what my life could look like if I allowed these people to control me, to control my thoughts, to control my movement. And the reality of the matter is, my life would look just like theirs. Clock it. And that's not something that I wanted. Looking at my mother, I never wanted a life like hers based on her levels of shame. I never wanted her career. I saw how stressful it was. I never wanted her marriage. I saw how stressful that was. I saw my mom do things behind closed doors that were creative. I saw her creative talent. She was such a creative woman, but she hid it behind closed doors until she died. And it was something that really upset me that people didn't know. Like, my mom was a painter. People did not know that about her. She was someone who was really great at drawing. She was someone who could really draw like cartoon characters. She could paint. She was a great decorator. So she loved doing like party decorations. And those things were things that have guided me into the life that I have now. I saw how much attention to detail she would put into her personal projects, but she kept them behind closed doors. And I think that for me, I am just a walking representation of the things that she wanted to do that she never could, things that she was too ashamed to get out there and do. And I know that as children, we are our parents' wildest dreams, right? But I just want Black women to think about how different their lives would be if they did not allow the shame of their mothers, the shame of their grandparents, the shame of their friends, of their loved ones, if they didn't allow those things to control them. Something that I've just spent a lot of time on is really channeling what I want to do because I want to do it. I think that we are so overwhelmed by so many thoughts and opinions and, well, what do you think? And what do you think? And I had to really just stop fucking asking people their opinion. Why? Because a lot of times they haven't walked in my shoes because they don't have the same goals that I have. And their shame is coming from an internal place based on things that they have going on or based on things that they have been taught. I don't know who needs to hear this, but Black girl, stop letting these motherfuckers shame you. And as I've cracked open this other side of my brain, this shameless black girl, I've really spent a lot of time trying to hone in on my voice. I've spent a lot of time trying to find that little girl and to push her to start talking. Girl, talk, say it, put it out there. I think that we spend so much time just hiding behind the thing, hiding behind the what if or what will they think or how would they treat me. And the reality of the matter is more black women need to start showing up without shame. And it's something that I'm really excited about. Obviously, I am planning on starting a lot of trouble with this podcast. I plan on starting a lot of trouble. And if you know me, then you know that I already do that online. Like, that's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy talking about the thing. I enjoy turning over the rock and really talking about some of the tough things that we experience as black women, as queer women, things that a lot of people probably don't want to talk about, the sore spots. And I really like doing those things because somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to be brave enough to say the thing. And my hope is that in me being brave, that other people will be brave too. I think that black women, queer women, we just struggle so much with the opinions of other people. And at the end of the day, they ain't paying the goddamn bills. I've found so much joy in being shameless. I've found so much joy in being selfish. I've found so much joy in choosing myself and choosing exactly what the fuck I want to do. Because at the end of the day, nobody has to face that reality except for me when I turn the lights off, right? Nobody has to sit with me but me. And I think that I've just lived my life really taking that into account, really considering what that feels like when the lights go off. Am I happy with me? Am I happy with my decision making? Or am I just making these decisions because my mom told me to, or because my sister told me to, or because my girlfriend told me to? No, 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 no. This is my life, and they have their own lives, and they should live them too. The shame is wearing black women down. It really is. And in me discussing these things when it comes to black women, their physical health, their mental health, how to navigate cool stories, funny stories about shame, I think that it's really imperative for not only you guys to enjoy them and to just take that 10, 15, 20 minutes to just hear a girl out, but most importantly, to figure out how you can implement some of those things into your own life. The reality is that none of us get a trophy. We don't get a prize for following directions. We don't get recognized for playing it safe. The girls that get it, they get it, okay? They get it. And as I come to a close of this very random intro to me, to what I want to talk about, my hope is that you understand that this is going to be unfiltered. Your girl, she cusses. I'm a cuss. I'm a cuss. I'm going to be bad. I'm going to start some trouble. But most importantly, my goal is to create community, to foster community, and to really get black women to think about what it is that we're doing, the game that we're playing, and how we can play more efficiently so that we can actually enjoy this shit, because none of us are getting out of here unscathed. None of us are getting out of here alive. And I really think that we should just start figuring out ways to enjoy ourselves and to have more fun with this shit. Have more fun with this shit. Be a little bit more selfish today. Walk with your head held high. And don't have any shame in your game. Don't have any cap in your rap. Yeah.